Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga-Texas construction update video.
Well, hey everybody, this is Joe and I'm here in my Cybertruck getting ready for Halloween this week. Can you believe it's already that time of year? Now, of course, Giga-Texas got into the spirit this weekend with their Frunk or Treat event, and this was held for employees of the factory. They had a lot of displays, some of them pretty scary when you think about Cybertrucks that are having completed crash testing, and also a lot of other displays. But probably the star of the show was the appearance of the Cybercab for the very first time, at least in a public venue here at the factory. And with these images, we get a really good look at what the Cybercab appears like, especially in the sun. You get a much better appreciation for its color and its kind of configuration and maybe the size. I just want to say thank you to several of my friends here at the factory for posting these pictures and also the video clip that you're seeing. And it's just great to have this vehicle here at the site, knowing what's going to be coming in 2025. Now, if you looked at my previous video, I gave you some additional insights, views inside the factory, also some of the equipment that is being delivered here to support the production not only of the Cybercab in 2025 and ramping up into 2026, but also we're expecting to see a few new vehicles as well that are different from the Cybercab and based on the Model 3, Model Y, using the existing production lines here at Giga-Texas. So really, this is setting the stage for an exciting 2025. And again, it's just great to see the Cybercab in a different venue, a different light, and also share it with all the employees here at Giga-Texas for the very first time, at least publicly. Now, a couple of things that are coming up here at the end of the week that's going to affect my schedule. I'm going to be heading over after I fly on Wednesday to Houston. I'm going to be touring the Johnson Space Center and also participating in a New Worlds conference. It's a space conference that lasts 2 days. It'll be Friday and Saturday. There are a lot of people within the space community, some of which, like Dr. Phil Metzger, who is working on the lunar regolith and landing rocket issue, and a bunch of others. And basically, we're going to be looking at the future of space, the challenges that are coming up in the near future, and also some of the exciting opportunities that we're just about to start seeing, not only with SpaceX and its Starship development, but also many other companies that are bringing space capabilities to us, and they're all developing right now. And 2025 is going to be a very important year for space. So I'm really looking forward to doing that, and I will be sharing that event with Ellie in Space, and hopefully between the two of us we'll be able to share quite a bit of what was going on and what we heard during that conference. Now, one other thing that is going to be affecting my schedule, it's still a little bit to be determined, but that has to do with Starship's Flight 6. There is a lot of very rapid developments down at Starbase getting ready for that flight. Also, just a reminder, the FAA has already provided the license for that flight, so it could happen very quickly. There are indications that the week of the 11th of November is the target week. So if that is in fact the case, I'll be heading down to Starbase and I'll be covering that launch. So again, that will affect my schedule. And I'll do my best to keep you informed about what is going on and the coverage of Giga-Texas. But without any further ado, I hope that you enjoyed the information and the views of the Cybercab that we got this weekend here at Giga-Texas. And also, hopefully you have a great Halloween this week. And again, thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate your support. So let's get into the drone, let's fly around and see what Giga-Texas looks like today.
If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. If you are interested in Tesla products, you can help yourself and support me by using my referral code. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga-Texas. Well, it's a lovely morning here at Giga-Texas, and we have a surprise guest. It's the Cybercab on a display on the west side of the factory here near the main entrance. So I'll bring the drone down a little lower and I will zoom in here in a second, give you a great view, at least from this altitude, of the Cybercab. Maybe some angles you haven't seen before because of the drone ability to be a little bit higher up. But as you can tell, they are displaying it here for the employees at Giga-Texas, and it looks great with that Stoneglass trapezoid and the stainless steel beams around the entrance, and kind of gives that futuristic look to the Cybercab and this whole entrance. And a lot of interest in the vehicle, as you can tell by employees getting a chance to take a look at it, perhaps for the very first time. And a great setting here on the west side of Giga-Texas. Perfect use of this main entrance and that architectural design features that they put here for Giga-Texas. As I pan the drone array, that we can tell that a lot of Model Ys are exiting the factory here at the exit point, coming off of those ramps, getting ready to be moved over to the west side outbound lot. So great activity here today on this side, plus the Cybercab cameo. So we're going to fly up to the north part of the factory, take a look at some of the activity up on this side, and we'll also take a look at this clearing where they continue to work on those stairs on the left-hand center of the screen, and additional work with that opening and that green temporary panel. So let's continue up to the north side of the factory, and I'll resume the narration on that side. Now it's interesting to see how the kind of the operational cadence is here at Giga-Texas. On Friday, we saw that this lot was pretty much empty. Almost all of the castings had been used, which meant that it was being used for production. And in the outbound lot, we saw it full of Cybertrucks. Today, we see over the weekend, they made a lot of the castings, and these are ready for this week's production. And when we get to the outbound lot, we'll see almost no vehicles, at least in that north part, because they've been shipped off-site. As we continue to fly around the northeast side of casting, continue work in the ground in those excavations for some of the conduit. Also, the construction of this steel structure continues. More of the roof decking, that valley drain in the middle is being prepared. It has that white weatherproof membrane. We can see that blast wall through the open section of the roof. And of course, the baghouse filtration plant continues to have pipes delivered and installed. Many of these pipes come in segments, and they are lined with some sort of a ceramic material. And we've seen that on the west side staging lot. I'll bring the drone up a little higher. We'll fly over the baghouse plant, looking down at some of the installation. And while I was here, I wanted to take a little closer look at this new structure that I noticed on my previous video. And there's been some speculation about what it may be. I think it is an access point to the roof. And there may be an elevator in here as well. That slanted part might be for some of the machinery. You can clearly see at least a door on the north side and another, maybe a two-sided door here on the west side. And as I continue to maneuver the drone around, we'll take a look at the south side, which is going to be pretty much a wall structure. And again, I think that there may be an elevator in here, or certainly some sort of stairs for access to the roof in this part of the factory. As I come back over the parapet wall, we'll take a look at that baghouse filtration plant one more time. We do see some of those like cables or flexible pipes that run around the top and go down to the base of those two tanks. Good view also of the rack mounts and castings along that east side of the berm that has been marked off to do that storage. And the new concrete apron with those receiving doors. Still waiting for a few more of the enclosures to be finished, and then we may see that operational soon. I'll turn back to the south. Great view along the east side of the factory, the medians and those concrete walkways that continue to be installed along underneath the power lines. So I'm going to fly up over the east parking lot. This is where the Frunk or Treat event was taking place, specifically right below the drone here on Saturday, and we got a chance to see some of those images in the video intro. So let's go up to the electrical switchyard and take a look at some of the changes and activity there today. The crews continue to do some preparations just to the north of that slab and the catch basin. Still no work on that wall that will separate the two transformers, and I don't see that transformer on site yet. So perhaps another week or two. We do see that the V-type circuit breaker continues to have its installation. Think that all the insulation on the top of those kind of the ceramic insulators may be giving it that appearance that it's slightly different in size to the already installed ones. So it just basically finishes out that installation. Now there are 9 of those V-type circuit breakers here in the electrical switch yard. As I bring the drone over the power lines, I'm going to take advantage of the cloud cover to give a different view of this entire site, the Megapacks, its electrical system on the north end, of course that perimeter fence around the Megapack site, and then we'll look back towards the switch yard on the left and the die shop and battery cathode plant in the top center of the screen. So I'm going to proceed over to the battery cathode plant. We'll take a look at some of the activity on the chiller plant on that west side here momentarily. Do notice that there is more of the equipment being stored here on the north end, plus these yellow items which look like they may be generators and some sort of tanks, maybe pumps. It's obviously a rental of some sort, and it's being used for perhaps temporary operations or testing of new equipment inside. The chiller plant looks like it is getting some sort of work here on the north with that mobile small crane coming in near where we see the rental equipment and some of those chillers. Another thing I noticed is that temporary platform is gone, and as we saw in my previous video, that concrete panel has been reinstalled, indicating that this may be the end of using that as a material and equipment loading area. Maybe we'll see some of the chiller plant expanded into this section at some point as well. In this small lot, the crates continue to be unpacked, some of the equipment being removed, and this is part of the cathode manufacturing process, and this is getting everything ready to hopefully not only produce more of the cathode material, but perhaps be instrumental in reducing the amount of cobalt in the batteries as well. This is just a quick look at one of the sets of equipment that has been unpacked and getting ready to be moved inside, and some additional equipment and support infrastructure items nearby. As I move up to the north part of the site here, I'll turn around and give you a look at the west side. The bottom with that kind of curved gravel driveway is that lift station, and the doors are open, so it looks like maybe some additional work is going on inside. As we cross the north face of the cathode building. I'll fly along the east side, past the cell test lab on the left, the wade pit, which really hasn't been used in a very long time, although there is some water, but I think that's just from local rains. And of course, the crash test facility with that new perimeter wall or that fence looks like it's been cleaned up. It's very organized, and some of the cars that have been crash tested are along that fence line just to the west of the main structure. In this clearing, crews continue to finish up the electrical conduit and cables that went through this area to power that field kitchen or that temporary kitchen. And hopefully we'll see what the final state of that will be here soon. This equipment still is remaining here on the ground. A lot of dust on it that they took the covers off, and then it's been sitting here for a while. So with all of the vehicle traffic, it's really getting dusty. I'm kind of curious when and where these items are going to be moved and installed. I'm going to pull away over the Martin Marietta the maintenance shop, take a look at some of the recycle area at the bottom of the screen. I wanted to see if there were any obvious bodies from vehicles or anything else that might give us some clues, and it was pretty much empty today. Although I'll use this opportunity to show you a great look at this east side where the materials are staged. A lot of the equipment is also staged and vehicles, and there's also many of the workshops, particularly the ones coming into view in the center of the screen. As I zoom in, this is a look at some more of the pipes that are being fabricated and welded here. Much of the pipes that are part of the cooling system on that south extension and part of the Cortex cooling system were prefabricated in this location. The center of the screen is another one of the recycle yards that is used here at Giga-Texas to recycle many of the materials and the crates that have been emptied out. I'm going to take a quick view of the East Warehouse on Wheels. What I'm actually looking for is there's reported at least 3 Tesla semis that have been headed out to Texas, and I don't know if they're coming to Giga-Texas or not, but I am trying to keep a look out and see if I can find them around the site. If you happen to see them in my video and I don't call it out, please let me know in the comments. This staging yard has been used for the pipes for that south cooling system. There's still some of those pipes and connecting points and junction pipe pieces still waiting for installation. The east side ground floor of the parking garage still has the privacy fence there. This is one of the places where they are most likely doing some testing of some of the upcoming products, and they would like to keep that out of view. On the left-hand side of the screen is the workshops and some of the materials for the glass company that is responsible for installing the glass on the south end of the extension. And as we will see on the west side, the work continues to finish up the glass installation on that side of the factory. As we get closer to the southeast corner, I'll stay up at a higher altitude first to give an overall view of the activity. Here on the south end, the tunnels on the left next to the glass, the chiller plant, and of course the natural gas pipeline installation here on the bottom right side of the screen. As I bring the drone up to the north slightly, I'll give a closer view of the chiller plant. You can see that pipe that goes through the dirt and then underneath the road. That is for the clean out of the main chilling pipes themselves, and it's part of the testing and final setup, and the extra or the excess water drains over to that lined pond. We do see a kind of triangular section of asphalt has been added next to the chiller plant, and that's near where we see that new concrete slab that has been put into place. The dirt section just to the south of that slab will most likely get concrete as well once they finish up some additional work and do the main manifold connections. This is a great look at the 2 parallel large pipes on the ground. Also, 5 of the 6 of the riser pipes have been installed, and the 6th one is in the final process of being installed on the south end. It has not had the silver paint put onto that top riser pipe where it connects into the wall of that cooler. But it looks like they are getting very close to having all 6 of those riser pipes installed. As I bring the drone down here, I'll give you a view into part of the factory. On this side, on the ground, that ramp has just had the concrete poured, and they are doing those riding trowelers to finish off that surface of that ramp. So that's great to see that concrete work is completed. As I wrap around the end of the building, and we see a lot of the birds coming up. The migration season is definitely on, so that'll be something you'll notice in my drone videos over the next month or two as the birds migrate. Also, we can get a great look here at the south end, the 3 tunnels, the pipes that are for the roof drainage, and also the preparation for the road surface on the top level of the terrace. The middle is where they will have that concrete walkway, and then I'm still waiting to find out if they're going to put either riprap, which is kind of broken up rock on that 3rd level, or if they may do seeding and try to get a kind of a natural grass to help with the erosion control. As I pull away, I give you a great view of the south end, the cyber pond. I also thought I would give you a look at the fork in the road monument that has been added here, also with 2 lights that have been added on either side of that fork to make sure it's well illuminated at night. As we continue to fly back to the north here on the southwest corner, much of the crates have the glass for the installation, and that is continuing. We also see the truck on the right. It just brought more of the drywall for interior walls for the south end. As we continue to fly over all of the CDEC glass crates, we can get a great view of how much of the glass has been installed here. Do have this opening section, but it does have perimeter grade beam added, so I'll be interested to see what that looks like. Of course, this driveway that goes under this one section of the building as well. Work continues on that excavation next to that temporary platform and that red and silver construction elevator, and of course many Cybertrucks exiting the factory and getting ready to head over to the west side outbound lot. This is a great view of that outbound lot and of course the end of line facility. As we continue to maneuver and prepare to go across the roadway, the most thing that is noticeable here is the number of vehicles that are no longer here. They were all transported off-site during the weekend, and as I mentioned earlier in the video, it seems to be their cadence here where they stockpile a lot of vehicles during the week, and then during the weekend they ship them off, and while that is happening, they make a lot more of the castings to support production for the following week. It looks like the test track on the west side of the end of the line is very busy today. And as mentioned, this north part of the outbound lot just has a few of the Cybertrucks, and this is beginning that process to fill it back up again. Speaking of which, we see a long line of new vehicles, some Cybertrucks, some Model Ys, coming in to this part of the outbound lot. All of these are being driven from the factory around the south end and then to this point. Once they get the boring tunnel completed, that will help alleviate much of this traffic, and it will make it a lot more efficient to bring the vehicles over to the outbound lot from the factory. So I'm going to proceed along this far west side and give you a slightly different perspective of the material staging yard and all of the equipment and items that are here. On this side, it looks like it's much of the steel items, some of the kind of materials for ramps, a lot of the containers to store equipment inside. And of course, here is the spools of cabling, and what I have been told from a viewer of mine, 90 of those transformers being stored here now. So those continue to grow in numbers. As we pass this orange and white workshop, we'll get a good look across this material staging yard at more of the equipment and items on this side of the yard itself. Also, In the middle of the screen is a lot of those deliveries that we've been watching to see what will happen to them. There's also many more superchargers on the bottom right of the screen. Those are getting ready for installation, possibly to the south of the superchargers, south of the end-of-line facility. So we cross over some of the pipe segments that are used for the baghouse filtration plant. We do see all of these silver wrapped items in the middle. Of course, those wooden crates in the middle top of the screen. And this view gives you a kind of a feel for just how much of this equipment is stored here waiting for installation. As we proceed over towards the white wrapped items and some of the ones that are being unwrapped, is I've had a Patreon of mine, Desi Doolin, identify these as AP&T machinery, and this is part of a stamping press. And this is a smaller version of the stamping presses than we've seen here before. The worker on the top doing some cleaning gives you an idea of the scale, and all of those platens on the ground are part of the overall assembly. And this will all be assembled kind of like Lego blocks into eventually a complete machine. But right now it looks like they are just in the preparation to move all of these items, and then once they do, we'll get a better idea of where in the factory they're being installed. So I'm going to cross back over this north-south road. I wanted to come back to the outbound lot, not only take a look at the vehicles that are staged for pickup and the transport trucks in the process of picking them up. I also wanted to see if the semi-trucks that we had heard rumors coming to Texas might be here. I do not see them, but if you see them anywhere, again, let me know in the comments and I will go back and take a look. But the Cybertrucks are being lined up on this east side, and of course the supercharger lot is about 50% full. This dirt lot on the south is not only going to be paved and it has lights, but it's possible we'll see some more superchargers in this area at some point. Now there is excavation work continuing here just north of the tunnel, and this is parallel to another excavation that had electrical conduit, and that has all been filled in. We do see the end of that conduit where this concrete vault is being installed, and this looks like it may be related more to the fire water loop or the fire hydrant system than the conduit itself, as the conduit goes past that vault. There is a look at the entrance of the tunnel. The road surface panels continue to be installed here, but they have not quite reached this end of the tunnel, where we see these 8 piers in the ground. That's that rectangular excavation. That work is still in the progress, and we'll see soon if it's related to the boring tunnel or something else. So that'll bring to a close this video with great views across the site on this Monday as production gets ready to start back up after the long weekend. Plus, we got a chance to see the Cybercab for the first time being displayed outside of the main entrance of Giga-Texas. I hope that you found everything that we talked about useful and informative. As always, thank you very much for your support and for watching. Have a great week.